Let me bring you down just a little more. I had to pull my chair up some. There we go. All right. So here we are once again with our live stream. I really love doing these live streams outside. I really do. I enjoy it. I enjoy getting to be out with nature, feeling the breeze and watching the birds and, just I really enjoy being outside when the weather is cooperative. So, uh, in the description, I had put that there's a change to my plan, and I had put a lot of consideration in it, especially with comparison of notes. Well, not really comparison of the notes, but um, just in something that I had noticed. And so it kind of gave me more thought about it. That and the prompting of the Holy Ghost, because I haven't made it a secret that with this weight loss, I have really been leaning in on the Lord to assist me with this rather than me do it on my own. So before I get into talking about what I'm going to be doing and not doing, um, I didn't weigh myself Saturday because Friday I really did overdo it. I ate Gardettos and a lot of chocolate chip cookies, and so I wasn't satisfied with how I had ate, and so I just didn't weigh myself Saturday. But Saturday I ate better. I I ate more wholesome food, and I rated myself yesterday, and I came in at 222.4. So that made me feel good because I was at least 2 ounces less than I was Friday morning, and I kind of figured that I probably weighed 223 something or maybe 224 something from the way I had ate Friday night. So I really don't know if I'd had a loss or a gain either way, but seeing that it was 2 ounces less than Friday morning, so that made me feel good. But yesterday, what I'd done was I didn't overeat, but what I did was instead of eating more wholesome food like protein packed foods and making sure that I had a balanced macro and all that, like I've been doing, I just went on ahead and had more like fast fixins and, just more or less finger food. Because I kind of went into a lazy mode, I guess you could say. And this morning, uh, I actually got what I deserved for the way I ate yesterday. I came in at 223.8. Now, when I do something that I know my body isn't going to go in the right direction for, then, I know I deserve that weight. And I can look at myself better like that. And no, it's not permanent. But yes, I definitely can't do that. I'm going to have to start writing these things down because the one thing that eating that kind of food that way, it causes me a whole lot of air pocket in the upper part of my stomach, which is so uncomfortable. It's not like bloating or anything. It's just you feel like you got a burp, but no burp is coming. You know what I mean? And so I need to just kind of write down these little notes so that I stay reminded of what works best for me, which when it comes right down to it, the best choice foods for me are the foods that are easy to digest. That works great for me. Easily digested foods. The more dense foods don't work so well for me. So, what did I have yesterday that caused me to go back up so much? Well, I had a ham sandwich with sour cream and onion chips in the sandwich. How many of you like bologna sandwiches and ham sandwiches with chips added? And on top of that, I also had chips on the side. That was my first meal. But now I did eat after 12, which was a plus side, but it wasn't enough to change anything. And then for dinner, I didn't bother counting, but I had fish sticks, chicken nuggets, and french fries, seasoned french fries. Now, I did kind of more or less make sure that I didn't have a large amount of the french fries. So, that way at least I was focusing on the more protein type side. But nonetheless, uh, the reason why, yes, there is protein in the chicken nuggets and in the fish sticks, a considerable amount according to serving size. But it isn't good enough. And the reason why is because the pieces are very small, and you would have to eat a whole lot for it to really count. So, plus the breading makes it lean a lot toward the carbs. Once again, I'm not cutting out carbs, but I do want to have a good balance of it all. And then I found myself wanting something sweet. And this is one of the downsides of me eating those type of foods. They cause me to want something else. They cause me to go searching for more. And a lot of times that ends up being something sweet. Well, we have pancake mix in the pantry, so I settled with fixing myself pancakes with syrup. And the amount that I fixed, the amount of batter that I created, ended up giving me very large pancakes with more than what I should have had. So I think maybe the pancakes on the whole was the bigger killer. So with that being said, I did find myself satisfied after I ate them, but on the whole part, it was still caloric, just full of calories, high carbs, little protein, and almost 0% satisfaction as far as it goes being full. So, well, hello. I guess you left, but hi. Anyway, so I already know that I'm not supposed to eat those kind of foods, even though, like, I can. Like, say if I have myself a good balanced meal and I'm wanting to add something to kind of add a little bit more calories so that I've got a little bit of an energy buildup after doing a hard burn. I could add like 4 nuggets or 4 fish sticks or something like that. Or maybe have myself a small side of fries. But to make it a meal in itself, it just, for me personally, it doesn't work. Now for others, it may do a great job. It might do exactly what's needed, but for me personally, it doesn't. So I am back on track today with the better, wholesome, balanced foods. And I was asking the Holy Spirit this morning about, I'm pretty sure it was this morning, it may have been last night, but I'm pretty sure it was this morning, about how would I be able to refuel myself on a day that I burn excessive calories. And on the whole part, just really putting it together, what he wants me to do is, as I've been doing, focusing on having more proteins, and he's wanting me to make sure that I've got plenty of vegetables, but when it comes to like the starchy type carbs, like potatoes or like mashed potatoes, because if you do a baked potato, then that's different. But to for like pastas and stuff, to make that a minimal. That way, I'm getting the nutrients that my body will take up, and less of the nutrients, or less of the carbs, so to speak. Because for one, protein works great as a refueler and to keep you satisfied and to help you keep muscle and everything. It's good all the way around. And then of course your body needs the nutrients and minerals that comes from vegetables. So by refueling with that, then that is good. And I would be refueled like on a day that I would burn excessive calories. I would have the refueling necessary by making sure that I have enough proteins, and thus therefore I won't be necessarily focusing on making sure that I've got more carbs, which is more or less empty calories and really not doing me any good whatsoever. I need something that's going to be able to get into my bloodstream and substantiate it. Keep my body going even after digestion. So anyway, the change of plans that I had put in the description is this. I had already told you the week before I took vacation that I was going to be doing a non-clinical trial, which, once again, whatever you would have called it, of just eating properly and no exercise, because before, when I had done it, I had lost 8 pounds in 20 days. Well, the one thing about when I was doing that was I was more or less doing it as a challenge to prove to others. It was kind of like me trying to slap people in the face and prove to them that you can lose weight. No. And I was eating whatever I wanted, if I wanted a sweet for breakfast or whenever, but I was paying attention to hunger and satisfaction. I was paying very close attention. Well, this time around, I've not been fueled by somebody telling me, oh, you can't lose weight like that. I haven't had anybody in my face per se saying, you can't do that. So I'm not having to prove it to anybody. I think basically I was just wanting to, uh, I don't know, maybe prove it to myself that I could do it again. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. All I know is I had had success when I had done it before. But what it's looking like right now, even though before I went on the vacation, was at 220.4. At the same time, it seems like I'm really not going anywhere. And it could be because of the way I ate on vacation and then this weekend. And so maybe more or less I'm kind of hanging it up before I've given it a chance. But knowing how I had ate back in 2018, I'm pretty sure it was like in 2018 when I did it. Um, but anyway, me doing it then, I don't know, it was like it really was happening. Um, and perhaps I was having less, but whatever it was, whatever I was doing then, maybe I just haven't been doing it this time. But it's not going anywhere. It's not going anywhere at all. And in consideration of just the short past and near present, on average, more or less, I lost more weight with walking and strength training than just trying to pay attention to hunger and fullness alone. So my change of plan is I am not going to do what I had said I was going to do. I'm not going to do that after all, of just doing the hunger and satisfaction deal with no exercise. I'm not going to do that after all. I've already done my strength training this morning, and then of course I mowed the lawn. So I just I'm going to go on ahead and I'm going to go back to what I was initially doing, because hands down, number one, that is a proven way to lose weight without fooling around with the body too awful much that can confuse it so much to the point that it does nothing. And number two, I had already managed to go from around 235 down to a total of 219, you know, over the period of the 4 months since. And so that's just how it's been working best for me. And the biggest thing that I'm going to have to do is not get impatient with this, because one reason why I was trying these different challenges was to try to boost myself to really get some weight loss. But the thing is, it hasn't done what I was hoping it would. So another reason why I'm wanting to go back to my strength training and walking is because I don't want to lose what I had started gaining. I had started gaining stamina and energy. I had added count to my reps on my strength training. I was really, and even my clothes somewhat was starting to feel like it was fitting better. And even though they haven't gotten tighter, they're no longer feeling that way on me like they had just a few weeks ago. which tells me that I better get back on the ball if this is going to be a success. Now, I had already realized that my eating, aside from like how I had ate Friday evening, which that was good. Basically, I ate the way I did Friday to get rid of anything that I didn't want. And the way I ate yesterday, I was just eating lazy instead of taking the time out to prepare. Not to mention, I didn't pre-make my menu Saturday night. And so, I was just going the lazy route, and I paid for that. But I had also come to one significant thing Saturday, that me being this overweight is stupid and ridiculous. Now, I'm not saying that I'm stupid or ridiculous. I'm saying being overweight like this. And it is. It's stupid and ridiculous. For all the years that I had wasted thinking that I was attempting to lose weight while at the same time freely eating whatever I would choose. Something similar to what I was doing with my Christian walk. Being saved, I was still doing what I wanted to do. It doesn't work like that. Trying to lose weight and still eating how much, whenever, and whatever doesn't work that way. Now, once again, I'm not dissing candy. I'm not dissing junk food. And in a controlled situation, like say 5 M&Ms, or like on the Hershey blocks, one small row so that you've only got 3 pieces, or in chips, maybe 5 count chips, something like that, where you've got yourself a minimal, just enough to satisfy you on that, but at the same time, not enough to cause you to go into glutton mode. But for me, I'm seriously trying to change my appetite toward that stuff. And I'm going to tell you, since I have started eating the more wholesome or real balanced food, I guess you're going to just go and have to say it like that, more well balanced. When I do actually eat something like that, like chips or candy or whatever, it does not have the same flavor. It is not satisfying, for real. The foot, the it it isn't the comfort food with the same flavor that it once was. Now, I never ate because of emotions. I ate because I enjoyed the flavors. But the foods taste different now. And I don't think it's because they changed the formula. It's just because I had stopped eating like that. And it really has made a difference with how I can look at it, because now I think maybe when I taste it again, I am tasting it for how it really tastes. And it isn't so pleasant on the palate anymore. But now if I keep it up, if I keep eating that kind of stuff, then yeah, I find myself wanting it again. Like for instance, so my housemate invested in the sour cream and onion from Clover Valley, which their formula is so good. And I have been able to overlook any of the chips that he's brought home and just not eat them, because I had gotten myself out of eating that kind of stuff, and so therefore I didn't want none, and I was just able to overlook it, an occasional glimpse, but not an actual overwhelming desire to eat it. And where I had those chips yesterday morning, this morning, I looked at that bag. Oh my goodness. Overwhelming desire to dive into the bag because I was hungry. I'd mowed the grass before I'd ate my breakfast. I was hungry and I was thinking I eat me some chips while I'm cooking, that way that curbs that hunger. In the past, I would have gave in to that little voice. In the past. But this time, I told myself, no, you're not going back to that. I continued to get out my sausage and my eggs and start prepping the skillet and everything. Once again, I had put my tub of yogurt on the bar, saw the bag of chips. Once again, overwhelming desire to just dive in and munch on those. And once again, I told myself, no, you're not going back to that. Finally, I told Satan, shut up. And when I told him, shut up, there was no more temptation about those chips. No more. Didn't give them another thought. Even when I glimpsed at them again, didn't give them another thought. And you know what? That kind of tells me something. That maybe EDs is really demon organized. That probably would be a subject matter for me to talk about on my Christian channel, on my teaching channel. That might be a subject for me to talk about there. But when I told Satan shut up, that was that. That was that. And I'm fine. I'm fine. But I am looking to really do this right. And if me strength training and walking and having more balanced meals where my macros are more equal and proper, then weight loss is a shoo-in, right? It'd have to be. There is no possible way of me gaining the weight back unless I would become a glutton even on the real balanced food. But also, atop from me going back to strength training and walking, I am going to combine intermittent fasting with the Ray Down. Now, as I've told you before, the Ray Down is just basically waiting until you are hungry and stopping when satisfied and drinking water in between meals. That way you don't drink your calories. Or in other words, you don't keep your blood sugar so jacked up that you never get a true hunger signal. As Gwen Shamlin described it, she explained it, that when you drink soft drinks and sugared coffees and teas in between meals, you're keeping your blood sugar elevated, so you're never getting a true hunger signal. And she said to either drink non-caloric drink or water in between meals. That way you get a true hunger signal. And that is the one thing that I've kind of been feeling about. I have been drinking sugared drinks in between meals. So I've definitely got to focus on that, which just means that I get more water into my system, which is good because I'll keep the toxins flushed out. Um, but by me combining intermittent fasting with the Ray Down, I will have better control. Like, for instance, say I feel hunger around 8:30, 9 o'clock, but I've got myself on the intermittent fasting. Which the one thing that I had always enjoyed doing while doing the Ray Down before intermittent fasting was making myself wait anywhere from a half hour to an hour after I first felt that hunger. So this will work out good by me using the intermittent fasting. Even when I feel hunger, I will be making myself wait that extra hour, or in this case, when my eating window opens up, which I'm going to make my eating window anywhere from 10 to 11. I'm really wanting to push toward 11 more than 10. I think 11 o'clock would be a great time. And then me making sure that I don't eat after 6. But in my eating window, I most certainly pay attention to the hunger and fullness. Therefore, I will be doing the Ray Down. So that would give me a 17. What would that be? Because it's an 18:6 when you go from 12 to 6. So that would be a 17:7, wouldn't it? 17-hour fast, 7-hour eating window. So I'd be giving myself a 17:7 on intermittent fasting, which is a good amount. Not to mention 7 is God's perfect number, and be doing the Ray Down in that eating window, making sure to drink my water in between meals so I get a true hunger signal. And most generally, I only eat 2 meals in a day anyway, which is absolutely perfect because who needs a third meal? Of course, that is all entirely to the individual. And the Lord also gave me a small tip, because anything that He does to train you or educate you, you can take either with a grain of salt, let it go over top of your head, or let it completely manifest in your mind so that you're doing it. Well, in this case, I choose to let it manifest in my mind because I want to do it. And He told me to fill in the margins, the morning time and the evening time, so that I'm not eating before my eating window opens up, and I'm not eating after my eating window closes, to walk. Now, He didn't say how long to walk or how far, but one thing for certain, when I walk, I definitely don't think about food, or at least in the end. I might start out pretty hungry, but then food just goes out the window in the morning. So, how long I walk or how far is entirely up to the Holy Spirit, because He'll direct my path. But that is so clever. So, that would mean that, like, I get up in the morning, take my walk, and then I do my devotions, and then I can eat. It'll be time for me to eat. And then in the evening, around 6:30, as it starts to cool down, I do my walk. And therefore, I'm filling in the margins and given myself less of a chance to eat outside of my eating window. Brilliant! And as far as it goes, like walking in place or jogging in place, with that Sally McRae that does the ultra marathons, ultra marathons. Um, maybe not. Maybe later on, like when I really get stronger and whatnot. But for the time being, like really just focus on maybe managing a total of around about 20,000 steps by the end of the day. 10,000 steps in the morning, 10,000 steps in the evening, you know. That way I'm not overburning myself and I'm able to do it in the morning and in the evening, but at the same time, you know, I'm getting enough of a workout so that I'm keeping the blood going and everything, and I'm encouraging my metabolism to work. And so, you know, I think I'll like the results of this. But when I ask the Lord to help me because I feel like something isn't working, as long as I'm paying attention and listening, He'll tell me. But if I'm not listening, then I can ask and not get the answer, even though He's told me. But basically saying He just the same, and all week long on vacation, all week long, the Holy Spirit was giving me the nudge to get back to strength training, get back to walking, and combine it with how I'm choosing to eat. Just gently nudging me. In other words, don't go through with the plan that I had thought I was going to do of just watching what I eat and attempt to lose the weight without exercise. It was just, hmm. And Father knows best. He knows best. I am 6 years older now, and so I've got to treat my body accordingly. And Father knows best. So, with all that said, this is what I'm a doing: intermittent fasting, and in my eating window during the lay down, walking before my eating window and walking after my eating window, strength training in the morning. And let's talk about my strength training. Now, I'm not going to really focus like on doing push-ups or anything like that right now. I am wanting to invest in some dumbbells later down the line so I can strengthen my shoulders and my biceps and my triceps. But right now, I'm really wanting to focus more on my abs. So the one thing that I had watched through Corey on Redefining Strength is she was showing where um, like you can do workouts that supposedly works the abs, but on the whole part you're only working like your lower back and hips instead of your abs. And she said before you add other workouts to your abs, make sure that what you are doing, you're engaging your abs. And so that's what I focused on this morning. So I had cut out the push ups. And there was a technique that a guy was showing about standing on a folded towel and holding the arms up and making sure to keep your abs tight and stuff so that you fight gravity. Well, uh, I figured that by standing on my knees and my hands so that my stomach is free hanging. And then I hold my stomach in. I'm fighting gravity that way. And I honestly believe that doing it that way, I'll fight gravity even better than the way he had said. So I done planks, making sure to engage my abs as I held my position. And I done what I had just said about being on my hands and knees so that my stomach is free hanging, and then tightening up my stomach so that my belly button was toward my spine. And I done, instead of just crunches, it was more like ab pulses, which means basically what I was doing, even though it was a version of crunch, I was mostly just paying close attention to my abs, keeping them tight and pulsing like it would be a crunch, but not a full crunch, just a pulse. But I was making sure that I was engaging my abs so that they was doing the work and I wasn't just rocking and allowing momentum to carry me. So that's what I had done. And with the planks and the hands and knees, holding my stomach in tight, and the ab pulses, I had done 2 reps each, 10 count, both reps. And I'm kind of thinking that next week I will add a 5 count to the 10 and do 2 reps each again. And then the week after that, I will add a 3rd rep doing 15 count. So I'll just kind of keep alternating that, I guess. And I'm just going to focus on my abs for now because I really need to work those abs. I need to get my abs stronger. For any of you who may not know it, when you have got strong abs, you've also got a strong back. The stomach really makes a huge difference in how the rest of the body goes. Balance, strength of the back, so on and so forth. So, yes, I'm going to be focusing on my abs and my strength training. And then, of course, cardiovascular with my walking. I'm not going to be doing any power walks or anything like that. I'm just going to do uh, what I feel led to do. And that, along with, man, the fuzzies that's blowing around. That, and of course, making sure that I eat balanced so that I've got the proper macros. And eventually, even if I don't reach the 200 pounds by July 1st, at least I know that I will be losing the weight, no matter how slow it takes. At least I will be losing the weight. And I know that when I go to see my physician in September, he will be very happy with my weight. I am going to continue attempting to do the Operation 200 until I reach 200, and then the next set of numbers that I talked about in April, I am going to continue doing that because that does kind of give me a number to reach for, a number to look forward to. And I am realizing it's honestly not all that difficult. The most difficult part that I have found with changing the lifestyle, the hardest part is getting out of the habit of eating all junk food. But once you have gotten yourself engaged in eating a more well balanced meal with the right amount of proteins and nutrients, then it really does become easier, especially if you're not lazy about it. As long as you don't go the lazy route and think that you just want to quickly have food on your plate. It does take prep management. Maybe like the foods that I prepare for myself, I've got my plate ready in 5 minutes. No problem. Honest. Doesn't take that long to prepare them. But the real time that is taken out is the consideration of the menu the night before. And I have noticed that when I make my menu the night before, I do so much better the next day. And I found that, like, where I didn't pre write my menus while I was on vacation, the first thing I done Thursday night, I wrote my my meal. I made my meal list. And I had honestly missed that menu. I had missed it. I had missed writing out what I was going to eat. And so, for me personally, and I've heard it said that a lot of times, like for instance, it helps to pre-make your meal or pre-package your meal. And I think I've even heard that it helps to rewrite your meal, to pre-write your meal rather. Um, well, I'm not going to turn around and pre-pet my meal or pre-portion it, but I do find that me writing my menu out for the following day, it gives me a chance to choose. And I find that I follow a better meal plan for the day if if I've pre-written it. If I haven't pre-written myself a menu, then like it's a hit and miss. Which I would think, I would think after all this time now, which it hasn't been all that long, but by this time, I would at least go on ahead, even if I haven't written my menu, that I would still, on the whole part, know what I was going to be serving myself. You would think. But instead, I almost find it to be maybe a type of anchor, maybe, maybe, um, a type of anchor, or I don't want to say security blanket, but just, I don't know, it almost makes me feel like I'm in control. When I pre-write my menu for the next day, I feel like I am literally in control. And maybe that is the best thing of all. So I believe with all this, and it won't be hard for me to remember. I get up, do what I have to, weigh myself, and then go in, do my ab workout, and then take my walk wherever the Holy Spirit leads me, how long, and then come back, fix my meal, Um, Pay attention to my body when I'm hungry and whatnot, and stop when I'm satisfied, and then do my evening walk. Da da! I'm done. Not hard at all. Not hard at all. I just gotta remember to focus on drinking my water in between meals. That way I get a true hunger signal. And by all means, always make sure that I pre-write my menu for the following day. So we'll see how long it takes me there. But as I said, yes, I'm still going to call it Operation 200, and I honestly hope that I would really love to be able to lose the 22 pounds. Like I've got, what, 29, 28 days. That would almost be a pound a day. That's a lot of weight to lose in a month with that little bit of time. I guess 30 days because, well, 29 days. Uh, but we'll just see where I end up. For one thing, the energy that I had before I took vacation on the Monday and Tuesday, especially the Tuesday, burning actively over 1,700 calories. Like Monday and Tuesday, I had so much energy, and I want that back. I want that back. Now, I'm not weak, but I want to feel that energy again. I want to have that surge of energy again. And I know that the only way that I'm going to be doing that is by continuing to eat balanced and at least to keep the blood flow and everything, you know. So it really does have a lot to do with what I choose to do. I could choose to be lazy about it and then say I'm still trying to lose weight and I'm not doing anything about it. Or I can actually do this right, the old fashioned way, properly, and no matter how long it takes, be a success. And I am hoping that my portions would decrease, but here's the small thing. Here's the small thing. If I start burning on average a total of 25 to 2,800 calories a day, that being with my strength training, my walking in the morning, walking in the evening, and I'm only managing anywhere from 10,000 to 11, from 10, from 1,000 to 1,100, sorry, 1,000 to 1,100 calories a day, I really won't be refueling myself all that well. I'll be too much in deficit, and therefore I would actually be weaker than stronger. And that was the one thing that the Holy Ghost had told me when I felt so weak Wednesday after burning so many calories Tuesday. And I'm talking about the week before I took vacay. And that is the fact that I didn't eat enough to refuel what I had burned, and therefore I was suffering the consequences. So I believe that a really, really good thing for me would be like what I've been doing naturally what I've been attempting to do, because usually it equals anywhere from 15 to just rounding it up to the highest 1700 calories. But it's really been hanging between 1500 something and 1600 something. Uh, I stay in that and say I burn a total of 2,500 calories. That's at least 1,000 calorie deficit. And I will be refueling my body enough so that I keep the strength instead of feeling weak the next day. So that is the big key right there. Even though I want to eat less, I want my portions to be less so badly. So badly I want to eat less because I feel like I'm still eating so much. But me logging my foods, and this is the other thing that I discovered, and I've heard it said, but I'm discovering this myself. If I load my plate so that is practically edge to edge with the more balanced food of vegetables and proteins with a little bit of carbs, compared to filling the same size plate edge to edge with the finger foods like the fish sticks, the chicken nuggets, and the french fries, the full plate with the fish sticks, nuggets, and french fries is going to have more calories than the plate that's got the protein, the vegetables, and the lighter carbs. I can just about have the same portion in a well balanced mood. I can just about have the same size portion in a well balanced meal throughout the day, and it come out around 1,500 something compared to the same size portion of fast finger type foods that would come out closer to anywhere from 18 to 2,100 calories. Plus, it's pretty well all calories, very little nutrients, a lot less than what my body calls for. And once again, I'm not putting down junk food. I'm not putting it down. Even though it sounds like I am, I'm not. I'm just, I'm simply trying to put it like this, that I find I have more energy, I have better moods, I have less air pockets in my stomach, and bloating, and constipation, and feeling lethargic. So much less, all of that, so much less by eating more well balanced meals than I do eating the foods that I had ate of old. And that kind of makes me feel like I'm betraying myself because I had declared up and down so many times that you can lose weight eating whatever you want. And even Gren Shamlin said so. And it's true, you can. But there's also such a thing as eating it in moderation, not having so much of it, and there are consequences of how you feel with the amount that you eat. So I'm not betraying myself and I'm not telling myself I'm a liar. I did prove that I could lose the weight eating like that, but now I'm proving to myself that perhaps focusing more on the nutrient dense foods is more vital to how I feel. And I think maybe that's what I'm trying to prove to myself. And it really has gotten to the point that I really don't crave that kind of food no more. So maybe that says something in itself. I take more pleasures in the well balanced food than I do in the junk food now. That's really got to say something. That maybe my body wasn't really wanting all that to begin with. That I truly was just addicted to it. And that's something to really think about. That is something to truly think about. So therefore, I'm not putting myself down or calling myself a liar or betraying myself or anything. I am just finding the difference between eating one type of food and eating the other, and the giant difference between the two. And I'd never looked at it like that. I had never looked at it like that. I had always, seriously, I had always criticized the supposed weight loss guru who would say, cut out sweets, cut out this, cut out that, cut out, cut out, cut out, cut out. I mean, I would greatly criticize, and I would say, I can lose weight on whatever I eat. Well, I proved it. I proved I could. But what happened? I found myself losing control, and the weight that I had lost, I gained because I had lost control, because I didn't turn it away. That's like somebody who had always been a drunk, had a severe drinking problem, saying that they could keep from getting drunk and still drink the alcohol. And they start out drinking a minimal, not get drunk, but they keep tasting that taste that just drives them to it, and they find themselves slowly adding an extra drop or two until they start getting drunk again. And that's exactly what I had done. Exact. 2018, we had moved from one apartment to another, and then I was around 217 pounds, and I decided to do the Ray down full blown and even intermittent fasting. I had done the 20 days with the Ray down, eating whatever I wanted, and then I had gone straight to the intermittent fasting because I was finding myself able to hold off before I would eat. And then I ended up jumping into OMAD, but I was still eating what I wanted. And because I had done that, slowly but surely, I dropped down to 171 pounds. I saw 171. I went from 217 to 171. And I looked good in front of the camera. My face was thin. I looked great. I looked great. But slowly I started losing control. and started overeating because I hadn't changed my attitude or what I was eating. I felt myself going all over again, right back to overindulging on things that just didn't work. I sabotaged myself because I didn't work on cutting it out. Instead, I was trying to find ways to incorporate it. This time around, I am working very hard on cutting it out. The cravings are getting less and less. Um, I am finding that I'm craving more and more protein packed food, and not just like bologna and stuff, but I'm talking about like I do not like pork chops. I'm not a pork chop kid. But when I had the pork chops on my menu, buddy, those chops went down good. I am craving the real meat, beef, chicken, and surprisingly pork chops. Um, and the vegetables, my green beans are going down good. I, it's what my body has been asking for all these years. The food that my mother fed me had vegetables that I didn't like, and she always wanted me to eat them. And I had to, unfortunately. And so as soon as I got out from underneath my mom and dad's roof, I went crazy on the foods I really wanted: chips, ice cream, candy, hamburgers, pizzas, french fries, you know. And that became my big crave. I want a hamburger. I want a pizza. So for over 30 years, indulging on things that done nothing but cause me to gain weight. And yes, I do blame it on the fact I've already shared this that I had asked my gynecologist to change my birth control pill. And when he did, in 1 month, I gained over 20 pounds. But I was also indulging on the foods that didn't really make much of a difference. I wasn't nourishing my body, I was just eating for pleasure when I was hungry, for pleasure. And it changed a whole lot of things. Whole lot of things. Not just the pill, but my eating pattern. My eating habit. It changed so many things. And now I'm working on reversing that by refeeding the way that God created us to begin with. And yeah, He included honey and fruit for our sweet tooth, for us to go the natural way about it, so that we would get the the carbs that we need, that we would get naturally out of fruit and honey. We don't need to go to confectionaries to get that. We can get that through more natural stuff. Now, I do like the canned fruit because I like the syrup they add, but I don't eat it all the time. So, I'm just, for sure, the Holy Ghost is teaching me and training me, and I'm listening, and I'm incorporating, and I'm acting more and more on that. And even though the rate loss may be slow, maybe what I'm learning more is how much better I feel. Energy, mental focus. I mean, that's even making a difference there. I mean, my mind still struggles to kind of put things together instantly, like fast-witted people. But at least I'm feeling like I'm more. I have less brain fog. I'll put it to you like that. I have less brain fog. So that makes a difference. I have get up and go. If I've got to go do something, I can go do it instead of dragging my heels. I'm capable now. And that was something that I wasn't able to do before. I didn't have that before, eating that kind of food. I would just sit there and I'd bellyache about it. I really don't want to get up and go do that. Now, I think about going and doing whatever it is that's on my mind. I just get up and go do it. I don't think twice about it. I just do it, and I'm capable of doing it. I'm not dragging my heels. And that's a blessing. So there's a lot of changes that's going on along with my change in diet and activity. And I don't know, maybe it's like I know that I'm going to lose the weight for doing it, but maybe it has seriously gone a lot deeper than that. And I just never realized how much of a change I was needing. I'm rather enjoying the physical changes, the mentality, and all that. I'm not as moody, which is great too, because I used to really be a mental case, as they say it. Mental case, being very touchy, staying angry all the time. Which God took care of that too. He removed all the anger from me, but it really does make a difference with my mood, my emotions, my mood swings and stuff. I feel happier because I know I'm doing myself right. Um, and like I said, the physical, just a lot of changes, and it isn't just weight loss, but other things too. So anyway, that's pretty well all that I have got for you today. That's what I'm going to be doing from now on. Pretty well going to the basics. I'm not going to do overkill like what I was attempting, like, doing a total of 3,000 calories in a burn, or trying to do 50K, even though one day I am going to be doing 50,000 steps, and I'm going to be doing it daily. But for the time being, I will be happy to manage anywhere from 18 to 25,000 steps a day. That will be great. That'll be terrific. And making sure that I eat what my body needs the most when it needs it, until it doesn't need it anymore. Just going back to the basics, and we will see the ultimate changes through all that. And whether it be quick or slow, either way, I did get a small taste of what happens when I do myself right. And I did have 2 days of excessive energy that I have been wanting so badly. And I'm going to get that back. I'm going to get it back. So anyway, I love yous and I appreciate yous. Thank you so much for watching. And I know that it's been a little bit of a while where I took that vacation and stuff, but we're getting right back on it, which means tonight you're going to be getting the conclusion video, and tomorrow another live stream. And we're just going to get right back into the niche of things, and it's going to be great. It's going to be great, and I'm going to be able to share with you how I feel, any weight loss, and we're going to kill this thing, right? We're going to kill it. We're going to do it right, and we're going to feel great for doing it. Anyway, as I said, I love yins. Thank you so very much for watching. I will see you tonight with my conclusion video, and yins have a great rest of your day.